Famously known as one of the most powerful witches in the Marvel Universe, Agatha Harkness has had quite an enriching story arc that can be traced all the way back to the Salem Witch Trials. She was first introduced in the Fantastic Four comics in 1969, and she developed an interest in witchcraft and served as a mentor to the Scarlet Witch before joining the Witches of New Salem. She has undoubtedly lived an interesting life, and Marvel has recently released a miniseries titled Agatha All Along, where we get to see her in action. While she is known for her witchcraft, Agatha has a ton of hidden powers that make her who she is, and today we'll explore a bunch of them. Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Origins of Agatha Harkness in comics and MCU. Before we dive into Agatha's magical powers, let us look at her origins in Marvel Comics and the Marvel Cinematic Universe at large. In the comics, Agatha is said to be several centuries old, and her first appearance can be dated back to her meeting with Scryer. This event took place about 5 centuries before the fall of Atlantis, and can be traced back to about 20,000 years ago, which establishes Agatha's longevity. It seems like she's been around forever, and at some point, she became interested in witchcraft, and fought against the witch hunts that took place in the early 15th to 17th century. Notably, she had settled in Salem, Massachusetts, during the Salem Witch Trials, and she even formed a coven of witches who practiced magic in the New World. In the aftermath of the trials, Agatha declared that witch-burning was an important practice that only helped them strengthen their magic, and she kept a low profile for several years before joining the Daughters of Liberty in the 18th century. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Agatha Harkness is portrayed by Kathryn Hahn, and she played an important role in WandaVision before appearing in her spin-off series, Agatha All Along. Her origins are somewhat similar, at least until the point where she was accused of practicing dark magic during the witch trials. Over time, she sensed the presence of chaos magic in the Westview Anomaly, an illusion created by Wanda Maximoff, and managed to weasel her way into this fantasy world. However, her abilities fell short in comparison to the Scarlet Witch's powers, and she was soon stripped of her powers by the end of the series. Her latest spin-off series is set in the aftermath of the Westview incident, as she embarks on a journey to regain her powers. While only time will tell if Agatha manages to regain her magical abilities, she has exerted supreme control over the realms of magic and witchcraft for centuries, and let us glance at some of her most insane hidden powers. Number 1. Mastery over magic. For starters, Agatha has attained supreme control over dark magic, and her magical prowess ranges from spellcasting to higher-order feats, such as manipulating matter. Her knowledge has been passed down for ages, and she's even trained with Wanda Maximoff in a few magical skills, such as creating runes. Agatha has collected a vast knowledge of magic and spells over the course of thousands of years, and she supposedly teaches illusions of Icon at the Strange Academy in the present-day comics. In the comics, her magical abilities allow her to manipulate elements such as air, water, fire, and electricity. Number 2. Supreme witchcraft abilities. However, her powers extend beyond magic, and she can also perform advanced forms of magic such as witchcraft. Her witchcraft aura is typically purple, but it continues to get darker and eventually turns into a black mist after she dabbles in the corruptive dark magic. Some of her witchcraft abilities involved casting spells and creating runes, as well as controlling different mystical forces. In the comics, Agatha could tap into the universe's infinite stores of magical energies. She could derive energy from the mind, body, or soul for desired effects, and her abilities ranged to the point where she could even tap into extra-dimensional energy. Number 3. Mystical energy manipulation. Harkness was also capable of giving form to her dark mystical energy and turning it into tangible weapons. She often used these energy-based constructs to bind or attack her enemies, like the time she used magical strings to hold Billy and Tommy Maximoff by their necks, to restrain Wanda's wrists and ankles in their initial face-off. Number 4. Devastating energy blasts. Over time, Agatha had mastered chaos magic and dark magic, 2 different forces of nature that were lethal when combined. An energy blast conjured out of a mix of these forces was enough to defeat Wanda, and Agatha once absorbed the chaos magic from Wanda's attack to bind it with her dark magic and fire projectiles out of it. Besides this, she could also project energy blasts or bolts of purple mystical energy from her hands, and she truly did not need any additional weapons in battle as long as she had magic by her side. Number 5. Arcane energy detection. Agatha was also capable of detecting energy, and she impressively displayed this ability when she detected the Westview Anomaly by sensing the afterglow of Wanda's complex spells. In the comics, Agatha was aware of her surroundings to the extent that she detected Reed Richards' car alarm going off even before it actually happened. Number 6. Powerful telekinetic control. Among other abilities, Agatha could manipulate objects and people with just the flick of her fingers, with the help of her purple mystical energy. Her telekinetic abilities enabled her to close doors or break energy vines without as much as a single movement. She could also target multiple opponents at once. In one such instance, she lifted many sword operatives and dropped them in midair using her purple energy. Another time, she managed to break energy binds placed on her by her witch coven to free herself during her witch trial. In the comics, she managed to bind Master Pandemonium and prevent him from moving by using her energy binds. Number 7. Master of Levitation. Besides using telekinesis to control others, Agatha could also levitate and fly effortlessly, which worked in her favor during battles. Even when she cannot use other magic, she can maintain aerial superiority to dodge her opponents, just like the time she rose into the air after Wanda knocked her out with an energy blast. In fact, Agatha even flew to Westview when she first arrived, and she managed to remain airborne in her final confrontation against Wanda, even when the latter used rune magic to overpower her. Number 8. Mind control and manipulation. One of Agatha's most dangerous abilities involves mind control and manipulation, as her magic enables her to peek into people's minds. Additionally, she can also interact with their minds and manipulate their thoughts and behaviors, and she extensively used this power to control all the characters in Westview. She talked one of the neighbors, Herb Feltman, into confusing vision, and she also removed the effects of Wanda's mind control over all the characters in one single sweep. This made it easier for her to manipulate them, and she even controlled her pet to take control of a cicada in an elaborate display of magic. Agatha's mind control powers were so strong that she could even project images of her own tricks into Wanda's mind and create elaborate illusions to tamper with Wanda's memories. By doing this, Agatha compelled Wanda to relive her experiences before instantaneously pulling her out of her fond memories. However, Wanda was no weakling, and she also used her magical powers to trap Agatha into an illusion of her witch trial. In this battle of mental manipulation, Agatha emerged victorious as she managed to turn this illusion against Wanda and trick her into believing that the witches' corpses were attacking her. In the comics, Agatha displayed the ability to mentally paralyze her targets from a large distance or even manipulate memories on a global scale. Number 9. Unbreakable psychic defense. Agatha had a strong resistance against telepathic or reality-warping attacks, and she was the only being within Westview who could exist in this illusion without letting it affect her mind. It was also nearly impossible for Wanda or Billy to read her thoughts, which is also why Wanda failed to trap Agatha into an illusion of her witch trial. Number 10. Versatile spellcasting. Among other things, Agatha was well known for her proficiency in casting spells that ranged from protection spells to illusion magic. She typically used verbal incantations or hand gestures to conjure spells, and she's displayed this ability on numerous occasions in Westview. She once used a protection spell on the structure beneath her house to protect herself and neutralize Wanda's attacks. On another occasion, Agatha compelled Wanda to relive her memories by casting a spell with a strand of her hair, which helped her create a realistic illusion that mimicked locations from Wanda's past. In the comics, Agatha used her spellcasting ability to create an illusion to disguise herself as a young, beautiful woman. She also had the ability to manipulate others' experiences, and she once cast a spell that made Steve Rogers experience the events of half a millennia in a second. Number 11. Shape-shifting transmutation. In addition to casting spells, Agatha can change her appearance as well as that of other living creatures. After moving to Westview, she changed her appearance to that of a seemingly normal neighbor, and she once even turned a cicada into a bird. In the comics, Agatha once managed to transmute Sandman into stone, an impressive display of her abilities. Number 12. Conjuring the Darkhold and other objects. Agatha's magical abilities allow her to conjure objects at her will, and her conjuration powers typically create a small purple portal, through which her desired objects would materialize. Agatha used this ability to summon the Darkhold and recite Wanda's fate to her before sending the books back through the portal. Number 13. Object enchantment and empowerment. Agatha's magical prowess allows her to enchant objects by imbuing them with supernatural abilities. She once created an enchantment necklace by using a crystalline possession spell, and then used it to control Ralph Boner. Her enchantment abilities were so substantial that she managed to bestow Boner with Pietro Maximoff's personality and super speed. She also used her object enchantment powers to put a spell on the root structure of her house, to protect herself from Wanda's chaos magic. Number 14. Instant teleportation. Considering everything we've explored so far, it's no surprise that Agatha is capable of pretty much anything and everything under the sun. This also includes instant teleportation, and she can travel alone or take others along while leaving behind a trail of purple energy. Her teleporting abilities help her get out of tough spots instantly, and her comic version is capable of traveling as a streak of flame. In the comics, Agatha has managed to open portals across dimensions to teleport herself or even help large groups with interdimensional travel. In the WandaVision series, Agatha teleported from within the Vision residence to the street, and also summoned Billy and Tommy Maximoff from her basement. Number 15. Master of Necromancy. Agatha's association with dark magic and witchcraft has turned her into a master of necromancy, and she has often hinted at the ability to raise the dead. In the comics, Agatha could breathe life into inanimate objects such as War Machine's helmet, and also resurrect herself from the dead. In WandaVision, Agatha brought up her necromancy when she confessed that she considered resurrecting the real Pietro, but eventually gave up since his body was on a different planet. Number 16. Harnessing corruptive dark magic. While we've already explored Agatha's incantation, witchcraft, and general magical abilities, she started harnessing corruptive dark magic at some point in her story arc. Her dark magic abilities were strengthened through decades of studying, establishing her as one of the most powerful witches across the Marvel Universe. She became a master of the dark arts, and was especially unstoppable after she obtained the Darkhold, and used it to amplify her powers. Number 17. Extended longevity and immortality. Agatha had absorbed the life force of her entire coven, which enabled her to live for centuries. She also retained her youth and power, and she had at least survived for more than 325 years after the witch hunt. Number 18. Absorption of magical powers. If Agatha's magical powers were not enough, she also had the ability to absorb others' powers and enhance her strength. In this way, she could assimilate supernatural abilities directly from their source to continue expanding her arsenal of abilities. While she was placed on trial, she absorbed the powers of the other witches in her coven, even if the process killed them. She also absorbed Wanda's chaos magic and drained her energy every time she directed an attack at her, effectively weakening her with each blow, while her magical powers continued to grow. Number 19. Enhanced physical strength and durability. Agatha's physical abilities were enhanced through her magic, and she also used the Darkhold to heighten her physical strength and durability. During the Battle of Westview, Agatha displayed tremendous durability to Wanda's attacks, and somehow managed to bounce back after the latter hit her with a car. Number 20. Strategic manipulator and tactician. Along with her witchcraft, Agatha's inherent tactical abilities have helped her gain a reputation as a strategic manipulator. She can easily blend any situation to her advantage, and go to great lengths to make elaborate plots that keep her identity hidden until the time is ripe for her to reveal her true nature. She continued to manipulate events within the Westview anomaly for a week before she revealed her true identity to a shaken-up Wanda by asking her if she could retake the shot for the show. Number 21. Precision in magical combat. While Agatha might not be the best at hand-to-hand combat, she's quite precise when it comes to magical combat. She has exceptional accuracy in launching magical attacks, and she once displayed this ability by throwing magical energy at Wanda in their aerial battle. In the comics, Agatha also had the ability to reflect and deflect magical attacks, something that she didn't hesitate to do in her fight against Necrodamus. Number 22. Fluency in ancient magical languages. Agatha has mastered several magical languages, which enhances her magical abilities by enabling her to perform complex magical rituals. Her language proficiency also helped her understand Lilia's troubles after she escaped her hallucination and frantically started speaking Sicilian. Marvelous verdict! And with that, we've pretty much covered all of Agatha Harkness' magical powers, witchcraft abilities, and other impressive capabilities. There's no doubt that she's one of Marvel's most indestructible forces, and we would love to hear your thoughts on her hidden powers in the comments below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone!